but it's, again, it just tells the story of it's the evil and the ugliness of people's hearts these days is everywhere.
This is Franky Rose's Think Tank. Here's your host, Franky Rose.
Hey guys, well, welcome to the Think Tank. So there is a new search going on in Rex Heuermann's home. They've got a new search warrant. I'm just going to get this out to everyone because I jumped on so fast I didn't get a chance. And I think probably what I'll do while I set up, I'm going to show you where is it? I'm going to show you JLR.
The known Lisk, Long Island serial killer suspected of killing 4 people and many, many more, the Gilgo 4. The police are at his home right now. His home is being raided. New warrants at the home where he lived with his wife and 2 adult children. Let me show you what's going on at his home right now.
Oh, it did this when I was looking at it too. Let's pump up a little bit.
Huge police presence. They're there. They're back. Remember, they were there last year for 2 weeks, searching, digging up his backyard. I wonder what brought them there now. Fox News put out a report. I'm going to share that with all of you. This is a new report by Fox News. Suspected serial killer Rex Heuermann's home searched again. Gilgo Beach suspect's Long Island home targeted in a new search warrant. Long Island police have returned to the Massapequa Park home of suspected serial killer Rex Heuermann. His wife, Asa Ellerup, who filed for divorce shortly after his arrest last summer, and their adult children were not home at the time, according to their lawyer. I can confirm police activity at the house, the lawyer said. He declined to comment further. Investigators are believed to have obtained it.
Okay, so I am going to put this up now. This is
this morning. There was an additional victim named in the grand jury indictment. We just received this.
Turn up your volume, guys.
I know there's a bail application as well. We also just received that this morning, so I don't have much information on the newest count or counts, but I'm happy to answer questions with you folks if I can. We entered a not guilty plea this morning. He has maintained his innocence from day one. He entered a not guilty plea on the original indictment, and he again entered a not guilty plea this morning. To the new charges, well, we had advance notice that it was coming, so I explained that to him. Again, he said, I'm not guilty of these charges. He's looking forward to fight these charges, and we're doing that. We're going to continue to prepare. I expect that additional discovery will be forthcoming on the newest victim, and we're going to examine that and scrutinize it. You know, we saw that this morning, and I know you're going to have a subsequent press conference upstairs. You folks have followed this case from the beginning, and all along we have been told that the evidence is unsuitable for nuclear DNA testing. This morning was the first time, and this is 13 plus years, that miraculously nuclear DNA testing results have come forward. There has been testimony, there has been lab reports that consistently said it was incapable of having nuclear DNA testing. And we had mitochondrial DNA, and those statistics were quite frankly not very convincing. The initial mitochondrial DNA testing for what they claim was his wife was 28 out of 10,000. There was another hair that was 4 out of 10,000.
I'm like you, James. I think there's no way he started at that age. There's got to be more. And they just did a search not long ago in, the name that is not coming to me right now, but it's where they found some remains previously. So it's making me wonder if they did find something when they were doing that search, because it was a big search out there.
That doesn't put the wife as a suspect in terms of, or the actual donor of that DNA, but what it simply says is that she is not excluded. But if you take 28 people, and you'll find out of 10,000 people, 28 will have the same exact type of DNA. This is what we just heard this morning. So we haven't seen anything on the newest indictment, but I am concerned because, again, from day one, and remember, folks, this has been a 13-plus year investigation, and we have been told, and you folks have covered this, that there is no nuclear DNA available. And in fact, it's unsuitable for DNA testing on the nuclear level. We have been told it's mitochondrial testing, and there have been results. Those results are not very convincing. Today, for the first time, is we hear about nuclear DNA. We're going to look into that. We are certainly going to look into the lab reports, the lab testing, and the transfer of evidence, because that's somewhat disturbing to learn
Manorville.
for the first time after 13 years that we now have nuclear DNA testing. Anyway, yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Maxie. Boom.
I'm sorry. What I expect is, and you'll have to ask the prosecution about this, I expect it's been the same grand jury all this time. And they may have very well charged out on the 3 victims, and then now presented additional evidence and charged out on the 4th victim. I don't know. I have, again, we just received this evidence for the first time this morning.
Hey, Maxie, do you want to come up and join me? Maxie. Did you want to pop up with me? Let me know. I'll continue this going, but I thought maybe I'd ask.
I don't know.
Mr. Brown, in layman's terms, can you assess the evidence you've seen from the DA?
Yeah, the evidence is, there's a couple of components to what they have, and it's been consistent up until this point. You have mitochondrial DNA, which in regards to my client, let's assume for a moment that, number one, the DNA on the victim is in fact the perpetrator. That's a big leap, but let's just take that because we have transfer DNA. But
Good
just
Lord.
make that assumption. Make a second assumption that the collection of the evidence was entirely proper. Big assumption. You have people walking around without gloves at the crime scene. There's photographs. I think some of you folks have published that. But let's just make that assumption. Now you have 2 out of 10,000 could be the donor. Suffolk County, Nassau County, total, we have 3 million people. That's about 600 people that potentially could be donors for that DNA. That's one piece of evidence. Another piece of evidence they have is the burner phones. So what they have is they have pinging of cell phones. There is nobody, not one person on the face of this earth that is going to say that back then my client possessed a cell phone that was a burner phone and was communicating with any of these girls. What you have is pinging. Massapequa Park, New York City. Massapequa Park,
Blows me away how well bullshit can flow out of some of these lawyers' mouths. It's like, are you kidding me?
population, if you just limit it to his neighbors, there's 17,000 people in Massapequa Park. In New York City, in Midtown New York City, where he's an architect.
Mr. Slippery.
There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people at any given time that would be using any of those cell sites in pinging. That's the second piece. The third piece is they have an individual who claims that he sees this ogre, and I think you folks heard that at the arraignment, an ogre, and claims he may have seen a vehicle. That individual is somebody who, just to put things in perspective, what he would do is he would use this young lady for her to have the interaction with the John, steal the money, and then go out and get high on crack, heroin. He's the one who purportedly makes this identification. We have not seen, and I don't think they have, made an identification by that individual to my client. This is 13 years later. There has never been an identification procedure, a lineup, a photo array. All you see is this individual claiming it was an ogre, and they now translate that to saying my client. So that's in essence what the evidence is. Keep in mind, folks, what they haven't proposed to the court in the bail application is that they have had my client under surveillance for a year and a half. 24/7, they had poll cameras in front of his house. If there was any suspicious activity, if there was anything nefarious by my client, we would have heard about that. For a year and a half, and he doesn't know he's being surveilled, for a year and a half, he is going to work, taking the train, going into the city, working as an architect. He employs 5 people, and coming home.
Brutal.
Time with his family.
No.
That's what you see for a year and a half. In addition, when he was arrested, what's also important to note, if there was any type of admission, you would have heard about that. There is none. So when he's arrested, there's an SUV, and there's numerous videos in that SUV that are capturing the conversation with the detective and my client. And I can tell you that my client in that conversation en route to Yapping was bewildered, was stunned, had no idea why he was being arrested. Those are the things
Yeah.
from a human point of view, what I believe they have.
Of course, it's true the investigation publicly said that they believe he was going to strike again, and that's why they were.
So do you know the sources that are close to the investigation that say that? Because I'm just asking.
It was publicly said.
Yeah, I think the ex-police commissioner had made some innuendos about we needed to move in. There is, and again, I have the videos. We've reviewed the videos. We've seen the poll cameras. There is nothing Rex Heuermann was doing in the year and a half that was suspicious. Rex Heuermann in that year and a half was leaving his house, commuting into New York City like a lot of folks out here in Suffolk and Nassau do, work in the city, comes back home, sits on his porch.
This guy is so full of caca. I mean, these phones were in sync once he met up with them. I mean, this guy's just literally verbal diarrhea.
Plays with his dog, is with his wife and kids. That's what you see in the videos. Those types of things, and I know they say this, those types of things poison our jury pool. Because there's nothing about what he was doing that was negative in any fashion. It's the same as putting out that he had a room full of weapons, of guns. The vast majority of these guns are legal. He's a collector of guns. There may be a small percentage, a handful of guns that are antique or collectible items that were not registered. Let me just finish one thing. There's nothing in this case that suggests that those guns were utilized in the commission of any crime. So again, what's the point of putting it out there other than to poison the jury pool? There is nothing.
Yeah, whatever. I say whatever. Okay. Okay, what do we got going here? Police conduct another search on Gidglow suspect Rex Heuermann's home. So this is original. This is when he was arrested. I mute this because there's music. Mhm. Yep. And they, oh, look at this. This was the last search. But they've got the same vehicles. Police returned to Long Island home of Gilgo Beach suspect Rex Heuermann on Monday to launch a new search. His attorney said Heuermann's defense attorney, Michael J. Brown, and a lawyer for his estranged wife, Asa Ellerup, confirmed that authorities Monday were searching the home of the man suspected of deleting the 4 women over a decade ago. Yeah, you sick mofo, you. Wow. She's probably having a shit fit. They say that she wasn't home. Her and the kids weren't home. I don't know where they would have been, but it doesn't sound like there was anyone there when this happened. Search warrant had been served, though it is not immediately clear what prompted the renewed search or what police were seeking to find in Heuermann's home. Unreal. News Nation might have something. Okay, I'm going to try this and see if I can get you kind of acclimated. So this is where Manorville Jane Doe was found on the morning of November 19th, 2000. 3 pheasant hunters were walking along a trail in the area where their dog ventured into the bushes and located a dismembered torso. The remains had been wrapped in several layers of garbage bags, then dumped in the thicket beside an access road. So this access road, let's see if I can get that. So the head and hands and foot had been removed, which prevented authorities from cross-referencing the dental records or fingerprints. And the remains were identified and referred to as Manorville Jane Doe. So this is where they had that last search, just like a few weeks ago. This is New York City Center. And this is where Rex Heuermann worked and contacted all of these people. You can see a pretty thick line that takes them back to this area. And then they were dumped along the beach here. But there was more than one person found in Manorville. I would say parts of another one. So yeah, his lawyer can say what he wants, but I just will call bullshit. Okay, police search Gilgo Beach Rex Heuermann's home again. Police served a search warrant Monday at the home of Rex Heuermann, the suspect of the death of 4 people whose bodies were found along Gilgo Beach. No family members were present at Heuermann's estranged wife, Asa Ellerup, confirmed that the home had been searched. It isn't clear what prompted police to search the home or what specific information they were seeking. I'm honestly thinking they may have found something in that last search. I really am. That's my thoughts. Heuermann. Oh, let's see. I can have, I've got a couple pictures here. Let's look. So this is his bride. She looks a lot different than she did when the house was first searched. I'm going to do this. Yeah, looks a lot different. And we still don't know if she had anything to do with this at all. The fact that they're going back to this house really does tell me that they could have found something in that Manorville search. This was, again, the original search. Like, they ripped that place apart. So what are they what are they looking for? I find it, look at that, eh? Oh, no. Oh, does he? What kind of lights did he have in there? That's interesting. Huh. Guess you shouldn't have deleted people. And these are the Gilgo 4. So investigators previously searched the Heuermann home, and he was arrested and charged with the deaths of Amber Lynn Costello, Megan Waterman, and Melissa Bartholomew. He was later charged with the death of Maureen Brainerd Barnes. And again, I think this has a lot to do with DNA. Finally, we're catching up to DNA is progressing so fast. Mexi's the expert on that, but I'm just finding every time they go back and they look at these cases, they're having a little bit more success. So in the initial search of Heuermann's home in summer of 2023, police found what they described as a huge list of items, including more than 200 weapons. They also searched the backyard of the home as well. And Heuermann's family claim investigators left the home in chaos. Well, they don't clean up after themselves. So we know that Asa filed for divorce after he was arrested, and her DNA was among the evidence used to arrest Heuermann. So remember, there was her hair on some of these victims that were found. I do believe it was, let's see here, where are you going? I think her hair was found on one of the girls. I don't know if it was on tape or what it was on exactly, but I do know that there was, her hair was found. Again, Mexi probably know a lot better about that than I do. Bride of Frankenstein. You guys have that right.
To add to the already charged the murder of Maureen Brainerd Barnes, to add to the already charged murders of Melissa Bartholomew, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello. The defendant is charged with murder in the second degree, not murder in the first degree.
Gloria Elred is in the back there. Look at that. I never noticed that before. She's a great lawyer.
Because for murder in the first degree, you have to commit 3 murders within a 24-month period, and the numbers just don't work out. But Maureen was, she was an intellectual. She was a writer. She was an artistic person. She cared very deeply about the people that she loved. She fiercely protected them. She was a devoted sister, devoted mother, devoted daughter, and she's
got to be 900 by now.
Sorely missed by those that loved her.
I'm thinking she's got to be 900 years old by now.
What's happening in Gaza and Israel is heartbreaking.
Oh God, no, not your voice. So, okay, that was the last of the 4 that they were waiting to charge him with. And they did obviously find the evidence that they needed. So Maureen disappeared in 2007, but is believed to be the first victim of the Gilgo Four. All workers in their 20s, married architect, arrested in July 2023. His next court date is set for February 6th. When did this come out? January 2024. Okay, well, what the hell's that doing? Being put up 2 hours ago. Okay. Long Island. And so we have Amberlynn Costello was the first of the four. Like if you're lined across, because he put them pretty much side by side. Last seen on September 2nd, 2010. Found on December 13th, 2010. The examination of the body of Miss Amber Costello revealed that she appeared to have been bound by 3 pieces of clear white, okay, it was the duct tape, there we go. During the course of the examination, Miss Costello's body, a female hair was recovered, specifically on a piece of tape inside the burlap, wrapping in the vicinity of Miss Costello's head. The female hair on Costello was subsequently submitted for further DNA analysis. And I do believe that came up to ASA. Melissa Bartholomew, last seen July 10th, 2009, and was found on December 11th, 2010. Maureen Brainerd Barnes, last seen July 9th, 2007. Found on December 13th, 2010. Miss Brainerd Barnes had been left restrained by 3 leather belts, one of which was utilized to tie Barnes' feet, ankles, and legs together. During the examination of the belts, a female human hair was recovered from the buckle of one of the belts. Lordy, lordy. By the Suffolk County Crime Lab. Although the hair was not suitable for nuclear DNA profiling at the time, it was subsequently submitted for further DNA. Megan Waterman, last seen June 6th, 2010, and found on December 13th, 2010. Megan Waterman had been bound by clear or white duct tape during the course of the examination of Miss Waterman's body. 2 female human hairs were recovered from outside of the hair area and other tape of the head area. Both hairs were recovered in the vicinity of Miss Waterman's head. The 2 female hairs on Waterman were subsequently submitted for further DNA analysis. And this is a little further up Ocean Parkway, where they found an unknown male on April 4th, 2011, of Asian descent, said to have been found wearing female clothing. Authorities suspect he may have been out there anywhere from 5 to 10 years, and it is claimed that he was shot multiple times as well as suffering head trauma. Jessica Taylor. On March 29th, 2011, police discovered the partial remains of Jessica Taylor. Her head, hands, and forearm were located on the same stretch of Ocean Parkway a few months after the Gilgo Beach 4. So she was found. Let's see, I'll show you here. Oak Beach. I have to go back further. Fire Island, Jane Doe. Parts of her remains were found on Fire Island. Other remains located on Gilgo Beach after Shannon Gilbert's search. Manorville, Jane Doe. Yeah. Jessica Taylor, dog walker, discovered a naked torso at the end of a paved access road. The remains of a young woman were found lying on a pile of tree branches and scrap wood. There was no effort to conceal her body since it was placed out in the open just yards away from a tree line. Attempts to hinder identification were made by removing head and hands, as well as mutilating a back torso tattoo, which had words, "Remy's Angel." A Washington, D.C. detective saw the image of the tattoo and realized it might have belonged to Jessica Taylor. Authorities tracked down members of Taylor's family and confirmed her identity using DNA. So they found some parts of them there and other parts of them along the beach, if I remember correctly. Megan's cell phone. And this just starts to give you the cell phone. You can trace where they were side by side with Rex Heuermann. It's brutal. So let's see here. So all Rex cell phone data. I am looking for Massapequa. See how they track together? This is just perfect. Okay, let's see what else we can find here. This surprised me. I don't know about you guys, but this actually surprised me. Okay, I'm not seeing 11 minutes ago. Okay. I'll enlarge this once the commercial's done. Are you guys surprised? I mean, I'm happy they're still working hard at this, but I didn't see the second search coming.
The Gilgo Beach Homicide Task Force has returned to the home of murder suspect Rex Heuermann. You can see the look right here. This is a live picture coming in from the Massapequa Park home in Nassau County. A familiar look since the beginning of this investigation. And we saw those authorities lining the streets in the neighborhood, of course, irritating a lot of the neighbors after they were there for several days. Kristen Thorne has been all over this. Kristen, what do we know right now about this new search?
Well, the Suffolk DA is not saying anything, which is not uncommon, right? They're not going to tell us why exactly they are there. But when you look at those pictures, it looks exactly like it did a year ago. That's why I had to ask, is this the current scene? So if you're looking at this and you go, this looks exactly like it did July 14th of last year. No, this is now. This is current pictures of them, again, blocking off the street. Looks exactly the same. Yeah. Why they're there? Look, they're looking for something. Obviously, the case is still ongoing. They are still producing evidence, trying to find their evidence in this case. So clearly there is something there they're looking for. What they're looking for, though, is the question. When they were there a year ago, and I can't believe it's...
Oh, Lord. Yeah, almost a year ago since they were there. I checked the lawyer's hard drive, too. Something seems off about him. Oh, right. Yeah, shady. After seeing his search history, I believe the man. Yeah, because he did put the word Asian Twinkie, right? I didn't know what the meaning was behind that until this. And it basically is, from my understanding, like a transgender, possibly. Asian Twinkie was his search.
It's been a year. that house was stripped down to really the boards. I mean, they went through the yard, they went through the basement, they went through everything. And we saw the pictures of how torn apart the house was. So what are they looking for is the question. Look, as this trial eventually gets underway, Rex Heuermann is due back in court, by the way, June 18th. We will know why they're there. They're going to tell us when we went back on this date, that's what we were there looking for. This is what we obtained during that. But right now, we just don't know. I did reach out to Rex Heuermann's attorney, Michael Brown, to see if he has any comment about this. So I'm waiting to hear back from him.
His family still lives there, right?
Yeah, as far as I know. You know, I swung by the house maybe about 3 weeks ago because I was in the area, and there was a note up on the door basically saying, you know, please do not come in, do not approach. So clearly there were signs of life because there was a sign there on the door. So, you know, we'll have to see.
Okay, we'll watch it closely, Chris.
Wow.
Task force has returned to the home of murder suspect Rex.
Task force returned Monday to the Long Island home of suspect Rex Heuermann. He's pled not guilty. So this is the one where they were searching in Manorville. Wow. I wish I could find somebody who is streaming that search, but I'm not able to at this point. There's no one, there's got to be press there. So this is going to be the search in Manorville.
This morning, a deepening mystery as investigators with the Gilgo Beach Task Force scour a wooded area roughly 45 miles east of the infamous Gilgo Beach murder scene. The local DA confirming a multi-agency investigation, but declining to say what exactly they are looking for. Architect Rex Heuermann has been charged in connection with the deaths of 4 women whose bodies were discovered between 20.
So they did this search not long ago. This is why it's making me wonder if, maybe like you're saying, James, souvenirs, trinkets, but I'm almost thinking they found something while they were searching this area, and now they're trying to tie it up to the house is my guess.
10 and 2011. He denies any wrongdoing. Authorities have said their investigation continues to see if they can link Heuermann to 6 other victims.
You have to place the killer there or have a connection there.
Law enforcement remaining tight-lipped on the focus of their expanded search, but it is happening near where the body of 28-year-old Sandra Castilla was discovered in November of 1993. Her murder remains unsolved. Last week, canine units, drones, and squad cars descending on the thick brush of Manorville, New York, where 2 victims of another convicted serial killer, John Bittroff, were found in the early 90s.
Exactly.
Bittroff had been looked at as a suspect in the Gilgo Beach murders and in the death of Castilla, but investigators have so far been unable to connect him to any additional victims.
So you see, there's 2 other people that were active in this area, and it makes it difficult to separate everybody who did what. So the further DNA gets, I do believe the more we will learn.
The whole key in going to these other locations is to identify remains if they find any, and what forensic information they could find that could potentially tie it to this particular killer or to someone else.
Yeah. So let's see here. On Friday, the search extended to North Sea, where Sandra Castilla, 28, was discovered in November 1993. So John Bittroff has long been suspected but never charged in her passing, according to our sister station, WABC. Bittroff was convicted in 2017 in the deleting of 2 other women whose bodies were found in 1993 and 1994 east of Patchogue and Shirley. Okay, I can deal with Shirley. So this is what we just looked at basically on Google Maps. And this gives you, so Jessica was found with an unidentified female toddler who was, they did figure out that this baby was a girl that goes by Peaches, who was found in a different area. They have linked these two together. So why they were put in two different spots, I really don't know. So this gives you a good idea where Manorville is from the Gilgo Beach. It's all in line with him. Like his house is right there. Several miles east of the Gilgo 4 in March 2011, other remains from Taylor were previously discovered in Manorville in eastern Long Island in July 2003. So they were finding some remains, part of the remains in one area and the others in another. I don't know. I wonder what they're doing here.
Volume. Now in dramatic ultramarine black. Cleantopia mascara, ultramarine black. From CoverGirl.
No.
Twix with cookie and cookie dough. Kind of makes you wonder which came first.
Good Lord, I don't want to get in trouble for those commercials. I'm just wondering if one of these are going to go to Gilgo Beach. Now we're on Dairy Queen. No, we're good. Okay. So Valerie Mack, 24-year-old escort, was found on April 2011 about 1.5 miles east of Taylor's remains and a little over 2 miles east of the Gilgo 4. Partial remains were previously discovered in Manorville in 2000. And police have suggested there may be a connection to Taylor's remains. So this guy was taking body parts and moving them around to different spots. It's unclear why prosecutors are searching locations linked to Bitroff, whether he is being looked at for anything else, or if they've discovered anything over the last 5 days. Many theories are being floated about the possible suspects in the decade of Gilgo investigations until Rex Heuermann was charged with these 4 deaths. However, Heuermann has not publicly linked to it, has not been publicly linked to at least 6 other deaths in the larger Gilgo probe, and none of his alleged victims were located in Manorville. Suffolk County District Attorney, whose office is leading the investigation, said he will not comment on the investigative steps while they are underway and will make further statements when appropriate. All righty then. Let's see what else I can find. Friends. Toronto Sun. Why are we learning about this? This surprises me a bit. Okay, so I think what we'll do is we'll look over here. Now, I'm not sure if this is videos or not. So, New York investigators of the Gilgo Beach Homicide Task Force returned Monday to the Long Island home of M suspect Richard Heuermann. He has pled not guilty. Of course he has. So the 6 others that they're looking at him as the guilty party. I have no doubt there's more.
Homicide Task Force has returned to the home of murder suspect Rex Heuermann. You can see the look right here. This is a live picture coming in from the Massapequa Park home in Nassau County. A familiar look since the beginning of this investigation. And we saw those authorities lining the streets in the neighborhood, of course, irritating a lot of the neighbors after they were there for several days. Kristen Thorne has been all over this. Kristen, what do we know right now about this new search?
Well, the Suffolk DA is not saying anything, which is not uncommon, right? They're not going to tell us why exactly they are there. But when you look at those pictures, it looks exactly like it did a year ago. That's why I had to ask, ask is, is this the current scene? So if you're looking at this and you go, this looks exactly like it did July 14th of last year. No, this is now. This.
Okay, we've seen that one. The District Attorney Tierney has previously stated the work of the Gilgo Beach Homicide Task Force is continuing. We do not comment on investigative steps while ongoing. So I'm looking at just unreal, guys. Let's see what else I can find, if there's any more. Let's see what we got here. New search underway.
Police in Suffolk County launching a new search that we're told is being connected to the Gilgo Beach killings.
Good DA, Wake Up anchor Dan Bowens has the latest on the case. What's going on, Dan?
Yeah, Rosanna and Kurt, it's an intriguing development here. How significant it will be, well, we'll find out. We're tracking this all very closely. A search of a wooded area near Manorville, Long Island, is related to the Gilgo Beach killings. That's according to Fox 5 sources. We've been in contact with them. Suffolk County investigators, along with members of the NYPD, K-9 unit, and state police, looked around a church just off the Long Island Expressway by exit 69 yesterday. Now, putting this in context, Manorville, this area where they're searching, is about 45 miles from the infamous Gilgo Beach. So what's the connection here? The Suffolk County District Attorney's Office released a statement saying they will not discuss specifics of what they're calling an ongoing investigation. However, we do know this. More than 2 decades ago, 2 victims tied to the Gilgo Beach murders were found in Manorville. Valerie Mack's partial remains were found in Manorville in 2000, and Jessica Taylor's were found there in 2003. Further remains of both of them were found on Gilgo Beach in 2011. That's how those 2 areas are connected.
Yeah.
At this time, though, neither of them are linked to accused Gilgo Beach killer Rex Heuermann. He was originally charged in 3 of the Gilgo Beach murders. He was also charged with the murder of a 4th woman.
I think we're going to see more charges soon. I really, really do. The fact that they are back at a house that's been totally ripped apart, I think they've got something, and possibly might have something to do with Asa.
Maureen Brainerd Barnes, that happened this year in January. Suffolk County District Attorney Ray Tierney is prosecuting the case. He said new DNA evidence helped connect Heuermann to all 4 of those deaths. So the question here, will this new development lead to even more evidence, new DNA? It's a question investigators this morning are trying to figure out. Rosanna, back to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Dan.
So we're getting little bits and bites.
This is breaking news.
And this is Jim Smith in Chopper 2. We were following some developing situation at a Massapequa. Investigators have returned to the home of
Jesus, Lord Murphy, where's that coming from?
murders. It's a situation that started earlier this morning. Police arriving at this area, setting up a command post, multiple police vehicles on the scene. We have seen also investigators setting up a work area directly outside of the home. We can see those canopies, tents.
Yeah, it looks exactly like it did last July. This is a familiar feeling, guys. What are they looking for?
Set up, so numerous people bringing what appear to be possibly equipment as well as boxes into the home. This is along First Avenue in Massapequa between Michigan and Connecticut Avenues. Once again, police returning to the home of the suspect in the Gilgo Beach murders. It's not known at this time what new information, what developments have happened in that investigation that have brought police as well as those specialized investigators
That's a really good question, Tony, because oh my God. Oh, wonder if Rexy had a basement under the basement, right? Hi, Candace. Do you know what? It's cranked, friend. I've got this particular one. It's cranked. It's just not coming in well. I'm sorry. I can't hear it either.
To the scene, but again, it's an ongoing situation. It started earlier this morning. Police setting up a command post as well as a work area directly outside of the home in First Avenue in Massapequa between Michigan and Connecticut Avenues. We will follow the latest information on this developing story, bring that information to you as it becomes available. We'll have more information later on in our broadcast as well. Now, this is Jim Smith in Chopper 2. Thank you for joining us.
All righty then. I wish I could find a live chopper. Okay, let's see what we got going here.
Gilgo Beach Homicide Task Force has returned to the home of murder suspect Rex Heuermann. You can see the look right here. This is a live picture coming in from the Massapequa Park home in Nassau County. A familiar look since the beginning of this investigation. And we saw those authorities lining the streets in the neighborhood, of course, irritating a lot of the neighbors after they were there for several days. Kristen Thorne has been all over this. Kristen, what do we know right now about this?
Can you imagine? The neighbors were freaking out last July. Can you imagine what they're thinking having this come back? What do you guys think? Could Asa have anything to do with this?
New search.
Well, the Suffolk DA is not saying anything, which is not uncommon, right? They're not going to tell us why exactly they are there. But when you look at those pictures, it looks exactly like it did a year ago. That's why I had to ask, is this the current scene? So if you're looking at this and you go, this looks exactly like it did July 14th of last year. No, this is now. This is current pictures of them, again, blocking off the street. It looks exactly the same. Why they're there? Look, they're looking for something. Obviously, the case is still ongoing. They are still producing evidence, trying to find their evidence in this case. So clearly there is something there they're looking for. What they're looking for, though, is the question. When they were there a year ago, and I can't believe it's been a year, that house was stripped down to really the boards. I mean, they went through the yard, they went through the basement, they went through everything. And we saw the pictures of how torn apart the house was. So what are they looking for is the question. Look, as this trial eventually gets underway, Rex.
I know we've seen this earlier, but there's a couple more in chat. So I thought maybe we'd listen to this again because it's mind-blowing. I think they're putting some more pieces together.
Heuermann is due back in court, by the way, June 18th. We will know why they're there. They're going to tell us when we went back on this date, that's what we were there looking for. This is what we obtained during that. But right now, we just don't know. I did reach out to Rex Heuermann's attorney, Michael Brown, to see if he has any comment about this. So I'm waiting to hear back from him.
His family still lives there, right?
Yeah, as far as I know. You know, I swung by the house maybe about 3 weeks ago because I was in the area, and there was a note up on the door basically saying, you know, please do not come in, do not approach. So clearly there were signs of life because there was a sign there on the door. So, you know, we'll have to see.
Okay, we'll watch it closely.
Okay. Hang on here. Sorry, guys. This is just about over, and see if we can find anything new in here.
Heuermann was back in court today.
So this is his last hearing. So I thought maybe we would take a look at it and see what we've got for demeanors. And this guy, he is such a chameleon. You know, you see him in some of the earlier videos when he was doing, I think it was a podcast with some guy in his architectural firm there, whatever it was. And oh my God, he looked like a pussycat. And then you see his face after he was arrested. He looks you can't even recognize him as the same person.
Appearance since February. Prosecutors today turned over a large amount of evidence related to the 4 murders that Heuermann's charged with. Long Island reporter Shantae Lands is live at the courthouse in Riverhead. Shantae?
Los Angeles Rex Heuermann stood next to his attorney, standing stoic during his brief court appearance. Accused Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex Heuermann appears before a judge again, this time for prosecutors to turn over more discovery evidence from Heuermann's properties. The judge wants it completed as soon as possible. Prosecutors say there were 15 disclosures between the last court date and today. Heuermann has been charged with murdering 4 petite female escorts in their 20s. The bodies of Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Melissa Bartholomew, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello, all found wrapped in burlap along Gilgo Beach. Today, prosecutors disclose evidence involving Brainerd Barnes.
Just today alone, we provided the Barnes missing persons investigation from the NYPD, which is approximately 2,500 pages. We have about a 12 terabyte drive, a hard drive with regard to the nuclear DNA. We have digital evidence extractions from a number of the.
So this is the last search that we're looking at now of this house. And oh my God, I mean, it was torn apart. So what the hell could they be looking for? What do they think they missed?
Digital devices that were recovered from the defendant's residence.
Heuermann's wife, Asa Eller, also attending his court hearing. This as his attorney, Michael.
Isn't that a different look for Asa? Hard to recognize her from that bitchy lady that was in the yard when this first happened. It's amazing how chameleon-like these two are.
Attorney Michael Brown speaks briefly with reporters outside of court.
I'm not going to be rushed to go to trial. Rex needs the ability to have effective and competent counsel and defend this case.
Yeah.
Rex Heuermann is due back in court on June 18th. Meanwhile, Judge Timothy Massey wants all discovery turned in by the end of July.
All righty then. So I'm not sure if this is going to be the same thing we just watched. There's no sound. Sorry, guys, no sound on this one. So this was just posted not long ago. Okay, let's see here. It's kind of interesting to see this view. What do you think they could have missed? What do they think they missed? That makes sense. That makes sense. Like, look at that again, guys. Such a nice neighborhood, and then they've got that shit shack. Right? You see, the media's there. How come I'm not catching them? This is unreal. Wow.
News.
Oh, really? Can't hear it, though.
Out of Massapequa, investigators have returned to the home of the suspect in the Gilgo Beach murders. It's a situation that started earlier this morning, police arriving at this area, setting up a command post, multiple police vehicles on the scene. We have seen also investigators setting up a work area directly outside of the home. We can see those canopies, tents set up. So numerous people bringing what appear to be possibly equipment as well as boxes into the home. This is along First Avenue in Massapequa between Michigan and Connecticut Avenues. Once again, police returning to the home of the suspect in the Gilgo Beach murders. It's not known at this time what new information, what developments have happened in that investigation that have brought police as well as those specialized investigators back to the scene. But again, it's a started earlier this morning. Police setting up a command post as well as a work area directly outside of the home in First Avenue in Massapequa between Michigan and Connecticut Avenues. We will follow the latest information on this developing story, bringing that information to you as it becomes available. And we'll have more.
Home of Rex Heuermann. He's the suspect accused in the Gilgo Beach murders. He has been charged with the murders of 4 women. News Nation's Laura Engel is on the way to the home, and she joins us now on the phone with the very latest. Hey there, Laura. What are you hearing about what led to this morning?
Hi, Marnie. Well, it did certainly come as a surprise to many people following this case. But that's the nature of a search warrant. It's a kind of a surprise. We have learned that the Suffolk County Police, State Police, Nassau County, all involved staging a massive command center outside of the home of Rex Heuermann and his estranged wife, Asa Ellerup. Police arriving around 7 o'clock in the morning. I spoke to the attorney for Asa Ellerup, and he confirmed that the search warrant is being served, but he couldn't say what was in it because he doesn't have it. He also told me that Asa Ellerup and her son are out of the state and that the daughter was not there. Whether or not they were given a heads up, that's something that I'm trying to confirm right now, but none of them were there. In fact, we've learned that Asa Ellerup and her son are down in South Carolina. And you'll remember that Rex Heuermann's brother lives in Chester, South Carolina, Craig Heuermann, and that is where they found the Chevy Avalanche that was so extraordinary because of the amount of police presence. And this also follows, Marnie, what happened last month, a massive multi-day search in Manorville. That's on Long Island. And police were seen searching in the woods for several days. I think it was up to 10 days. And they were even seen digging around. And there was word that they found something, that there was a black box that was found, and is it something that is connected to that search in Manorville that has now brought police investigators, members of the task force, to come to Massapequa Park, shut down this street, just like they did last July. Just like they did last July, going through for 10 days searching for the home, or 2 weeks, I should say, in Massapequa Park. So right now it's unclear exactly what they are after, but this is certainly a very large development happening in the case.
You'll be there soon. Do they live there, the wife and the son and daughter, and they're just not there now? Are they currently residing?
Thanks, Maxie. Took me a second there. Okay. So I am getting aerials, but none of them. They don't have sound. This is interesting. Let's see if this is.
To the home of murder suspect Rex Heuermann. You can see the look right here. This is a live picture coming in from the Massapequa Park home in Nassau County. A familiar look since the beginning of this investigation. And we saw those authorities lining the streets in the neighborhood, of course, irritating a lot of the neighbors after they were there for several days. Kristen Thorne has been all over this. Kristen, what do we know right now about this new search?
Well, the Suffolk DA is not saying anything, which is not uncommon, right?
We've seen that. We've seen that. Trying to find. See what this is, guys.
The FBI back at the house of accused Gilgo Beach suspect Rex Heuermann. They're conducting a new search of the property right now. Chopper 4 giving you a look here live over the house in Massapequa Park. You see a crowd gathering in the neighborhood. News 4's Paisy Cheng is there on the ground for us. Paisy, what can you tell us about this new search?
Yeah, you know, this new search is really taking these neighbors here by surprise because, you know, things have gotten back to normal, as they say. Heuermann's family has moved back to the house. They've been trying to, you know, kind of get the press away from here. And now suddenly it is still a crime scene. Now, we have seen a lot of state police and Suffolk County police vehicles here, as well as Suffolk County detectives. And we understand that a search warrant is being executed at the Heuermann residence, according to the attorney of Heuermann's ex-wife. And we don't know exactly what has brought them back here 10 months after their first exhaustive search. But right in front of the house, we saw tables set up, boxes, things that were laying out onto the table. And just recently, they had put up these white tents to prevent people, I would assume, from looking into what they're doing. Rex Heuermann was arrested last July. He has pleaded not guilty to first and second degree murder charges.
I wish I could get us just somebody streaming from here.
Megan Waterman, Melissa Bartholomew, Amberlynn Costello, and Maureen Brainerd Barnes. We spoke to a lot of neighbors here who couldn't help it, had to come back here and take a look and see what's going on, and here's what they told us.
I mean, they keep on finding new evidence. I hope this leads to the rest of the girls being found. I mean, I can't believe that they're still looking. What else could they possibly be looking for at this point?
I don't know. I mean, I thought they tore the house apart last time.
So did I.
I have no idea.
What does that tell you, though, that they're back here and they're looking again?
Maybe he's talking. Maybe Rex is.
I don't think Rex is talking. Do you guys think Rex is talking? I don't think so. Not for 2 seconds. I think there was something in Manorville. I think it has something to do with that search.
Talking.
And that is everyone's assumption that somehow investigators now have new information that would lead them to search in a different area of the home or perhaps the property. A lot of questions right now, not a lot of answers, but as you can see, the police presence here is massive, and we are going to be following this. We spoke to the Suffolk County DA's office, and they gave us a statement saying that the work of the Gilgo Beach Homicide Task Force is continuing, and they do not comment on ongoing investigations.
Yeah.
For now, we're live from Massapequa.
Unreal.
From Long Island, the FBI back at the house of accused Gilgo Beach suspect Rex Heuermann. They're conducting a new search of the property right now. Chopper 4 giving you a look here live over the house in Massapequa Park. You see a crowd gathering in the neighborhood. News 4's Paisy Cheng is there on the ground for us. Paisy, what can you tell us about this new search?
Okay, we did.
Yeah, you know, this new search is really taking these neighbors here by surprise because, you know, things have gotten back to.
This is breaking news.
And this is Jim Smith in Chopper 2. We're following some developing situation out of Massapequa. Investigators have returned to the home of the suspect in the Gilgo Beach murders. It's a situation that started earlier this morning. Police arriving at this area, setting up a command post, multiple police vehicles on the scene. We have seen also investigators setting up a work area directly outside of the home. We can see those canopies, tents set up. So numerous people bringing what appear to be possibly equipment as well as boxes into the home. This is along First Avenue in Massapequa between Michigan and Connecticut Avenues. Once again, police returning to the home of the suspect in the Gilgo Beach murders. It's not known at this time what new information.
You have to crank your volume because I can't get it higher.
That have brought police as well as investigators back to the scene. But again, it's an ongoing situation. It started earlier this morning. Police setting up a command post as well as a work area directly outside of the home. Again, First Avenue in Massapequa between Michigan and Connecticut Avenues. We will follow the latest information on this developing story, bring that information to you as it becomes available. We'll have more information later on in our broadcast as well. Now, this is Jim Smith.
So there's no sound on that one. I'm looking for other stuff, guys. While you're watching the aerial, I'll see if anything else has popped up. But I think we may have covered most of it. Okay, I'll pause that and I'll bring you over here. I don't think we've seen this.
We begin with some breaking news on Long Island. That's where investigators are back at the home of Gilgo Beach murder suspect Rex Heuermann.
Yeah, he's the Suffolk County man charged with killing 4 women. Jody Goldberg is live outside his home in Massapequa Park. Jody, what are we learning today?
Well, Chris and Bianca, talk about deja vu. We were here back in July, and now months later, we're here as investigators issued another search warrant there inside the home. Now, we're told by Asa Ellerup's attorney, she's in South Carolina with her son. Asa Ellerup's attorney, Bob Macedonia, confirmed this to us this morning. He also told us that their daughter is inside the home. She was in there this morning, and she left around 8 o'clock when investigators got here. Take a live look at what's going on. Quite an extensive setup here. A lot of media presence, a lot of neighbors coming out once again to see what's going on. There's a command center, many agencies, including the Gilgo Task Force and state troopers. And why they're back is still unclear. The district attorney's office isn't commenting, citing an ongoing investigation. As you mentioned, Heuermann is charged with the murders of 4 Gilgo victims.
I am not finding much more right now, guys. I'll continue on with this and keep looking. But the updates are coming in slow, actually.
Sex workers found buried along a stretch of Ocean Parkway near Gilgo Beach. Heuermann pleaded not guilty. Neighbors we spoke with say they're surprised to see another search.
The first thing that came to mind was my daughter's school, which is right across the street. I ran into the school and asked them what's going on, and they said, no, it's something with the Rex Heuermann house. They're doing another search. I was so paranoid. I was like, oh my God, this is all over again. It feels like yesterday this happened.
I don't know what to think. We're neighbors, and it's just unbelievable in your own backyard.
I bet it
And now,
is.
now Asa Ellerup's attorney made it clear no arrests have been made and there are no allegations arrests will be made. As for Heuermann, he's due back in court next month. We reached out to his attorney and haven't heard back. That's the latest here in Massapequa Park, Long Island. Jody Goldberg, let's send it back to you.
All right, Jody, thank you for the update.
So, guys, that's what I'm finding at this point. I'm going to do a little bit more. Let's see where I'm getting that from. I'll keep looking here for a couple more minutes and see if there's anything we're missing.
This is breaking news.
I don't want to miss anything. Okay, this was 1 minute ago, but for some reason I think we've seen it. But
Sure.
we'll check it
It
out.
looks exact.
Yeah, we've seen that.
Some breaking news on Long Island. That's where investigators.
Seen that. One minute ago. Okay, this says 1 minute ago. So is it going to have any extra info for us? Let's look.
This is breaking news.
Oh, you can't hear them again. What's going on over here?
Investigators have returned to the home of the suspect in the Gilgo Beach murders. It's a situation that started earlier this morning.
Okay.
Multiple police vehicles on the scene. We have seen also investigators setting up and working.
This is breaking news.
So he is talking. It's just can't hear it.
Have returned to the home of the suspect in the Gilgo Beach murders. It's a situation that started earlier this morning. Police arriving at this area, setting up a command post. Multiple police vehicles on the scene. We have seen also investigators setting up a work area directly outside of the home. We can see those canopies, tents set up. So numerous people bringing what appear to be possibly equipment as well as boxes into the home. This is along First Avenue in Massapequa between Michigan and Connecticut Avenues. Once again, police returning to the home of the suspect in the Gilgo Beach murders. It's not known at this time what new information, what developments have happened in that investigation that have brought police as well as those specialized investigators back to the scene. But again, it's an ongoing situation. It started earlier this morning. Police setting up a command post as well as a work area directly outside of the home at First Avenue in Massapequa between Michigan and Connecticut Avenues. We will follow the latest information on this developing story, bring that information to you as we.
Okay, so we'll take a look here at his house. Everybody see this okay? So this is the house here. I think the sun might be sitting in the yard, but look at this mess. So they're well set up. All these beautiful homes. Look at this. It's just a nice little area. Look at that across the street. And you got this mess. So they're set up again and going to be ripping them apart. What do you think they found? Do you think they found anything? Look at this nice area. And then that. When this first happened, some of the neighbors were talking and they were saying things along the lines that they wouldn't even let their kids go there for Halloween. Like everybody was just creeped out by that house. And I can't say as I blame them. I mean, look at it. In amongst all those beautiful places. And then you got his shit shack. Okay, 1 month, 1 month. I think we've covered everything that is out right now. I think we got it, friends. I'm sure we're going to hear more. And the fact that this is going again, I find awfully interesting. This case, along with a couple other ones like Koberger, Richard Allen, these ones, I mean, we'll be all over it. We'll be all over it. So, guys, I think that's what we have. What do you guys got to say? Yes, this is the thing. Is there a crawl space? They very much could be, because I don't think they missed much in that house. Yep, they do. They've got all the specialty trucks on scene. Yep. Can you imagine? No, like exactly. What a nightmare. Look at all these beautiful homes. And then you've got that. That could be it too. I think, I'll be interested to see how long they stay here and keep looking. Until he ran out of space. Isn't that it? He had all the talents to make his home as beautiful as he wanted, and he's got money in the bank. You know, I think they said that he was a millionaire, and this is how he chose to live. Yeah, exactly. All the homes are nice, except for the one of accused SKs. No, don't do it. Don't do it. No, 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 no. I wouldn't do it. Wondering how LE got this intel. I'm still wondering about that search in Manorville. I really, really am. That could be $6 million in the bank, property, and a property portfolio. Yeah. And this is how he chooses to have his family live. Yeah, we were talking about it being a slow day, even a slow weekend as far as these cases went. And then Rex pops up again. Whoa. Unreal. Just unreal. Rex Heuermann. You dirty dog, you. Just wow. I think we've got most of the stuff, guys, that we need to look at right now. I am going to do another look really fast. I was hoping maybe for an update from the prosecutors. Oh, Lordy. 3 people unalived in murder unaliving in Vegas. Okay, guys. I think we're up to date. We're up to speed. And yeah, I'll keep my eyes peeled, guys. I'll keep my eyes peeled. If you guys see anything maybe throw it at me in Discord, and we might do another update later if we get any idea as to what is going on. What are the odds that Jessica and Valerie are found so close together in Manorville and yet also so close to Gilgo? 0 to none. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. And then you've got half the remains in one place and half the remains in another. Yep. Same dude. My money is on Rexy. Yeah. Yeah. Good to see you, Mom. Good to see you. Okay, guys. Well, thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this out. Hit that bell. And I am looking forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Bye.
Dun, 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 dun.